Hey everybody, welcome to It's Still Real to Us. The Howard Cheney along with QB1 and the founder of River City Media, Randy Cunningham, and our special guest tonight is someone that we've had on once before and looking forward to getting them back on here again. You never know what this gentleman's going to say or what he's going to do, but we're looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. The Memphis made monster Walker.
Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you joining us. We've had you scheduled for a couple times, but different things have took place and wasn't able to get you on. But thanks for joining us. And um, I'm sorry I'm a little bit off my game, but just seeing those eyes, it kind of throws me off a little bit.
Hey, don't worry. You've got a screen in the between us, so you have nothing to worry about.
I got a lot more than that. I got about a state and a half in between us too. So
Don't ever underestimate how fast I can travel.
absolutely, Walker, if you will, tell us what you've been up to since the last time you was on here.
Well, I've been staying busy, staying consistent with everything. With 12 gauge and search for another venue, I've been preparing for all the ways that I'm going to hurt Chris Crunk as soon as I see him. Mainly just doing 901 wrestling. We had a Saturday morning live that was going on every Saturday morning for a little while, but now we're back to just our monthly shows in the big room at Minglewood Hall. So other than that, just staying as consistent as I can.
Hey, I've got to go ahead and bring it up, Howie. You kind of went through some wars down at 12 gauge, and ultimately, I think Chris Crunk betrayed you, the people of 12 gauge, and even brought back the devil himself. Mr. Crunk really wasn't a favorite of mine ever, but he really drove a knife in your back.
I have to agree with that. There was a point where Chris Crunk and I were friends, but if you saw the last 12 gauge show, you saw everything I had to say to him in regards to that. There's a reason why you don't see Chris Crunk a lot of places anymore. It's because he does that. He stabs people in the back. He hurts people. But here's the thing about me. I can get hurt, but you can never keep me down. And he thinks with all his little goons, his little young boys he can send after me, it's not going to do him any good, because as soon as I get my hands on him, I'm going to bury him.
He has created an army to come after you. And he's brought back a name from the past and some new faces, but there's some faces on there that you've already warned about to stay out of your business, and they won't do it. So that little group that he has, is that an attack on you?
I'm not sure why Chris Crunk brought that group of fine greenhorns together along with Ryan Marks, but I can assume that it's the same thing that Chris Crunk always does. He surrounds himself with the youngest talent that he can find, people who don't know the difference, people who don't know right and wrong in the wrestling business, so that he can take them under his wing and kind of ride their coattails. That's the only thing I can assume.
He's got a very young lady that he's leading astray, in my mind, with a world of talent in Roxy Red, that I sure hope somebody gets inside her head at some point.
Roxy's very talented. She has all the potential in the world, but you're right. If she keeps going the way that Chris Crunk's going, she's not going to have a very bright future for herself, especially if she gets into my business, because my choke slams do not discriminate.
Don't let the rabid beaver hear that.
Yeah, he's still yelling at Casey Kazano about beating up the Page sisters. So, hey, if they step inside of that square circle, they're fair game.
I mean, come on now, like it's equal rights. If she wants to step up to me, she wants to get in my business. Don't I have every right? I mean, I'm not going to hit her, but I am going to choke slam her to hell. Is that fair?
That's fair. That's fair. That's what Casey said. Casey said he never balled up his fist. It was a simple wrestling move. that wiped the Page sisters out. So outside of what's going on at 12 Gauge, which is uh, one of your homes, and 901, do you have any other appearances you've been chasing, or are there anybody else that's piqued the interest of the Memphis Made Monster?
I'm glad you asked that. Come March 21st, I believe it's March 21st. I've got a match in North Little Rock, Arkansas. I believe it's North Little Rock against Herzog. Now, if you know anything about Herzog, he is very scary, very intimidating. But you know, I'm not scared of anybody, so it's going to be a very interesting matchup. If you want to check that out, you can follow Natural State Wrestling. Not wrestling, wrestling.
Raz, isn't that the best?
It's the best. It's old
Hey,
school, as old school as it gets.
we have a buddy that's over in Arkansas. Well, he's somewhat of a buddy. I would not be surprised if he ends up in Memphis, and that would be Max Abel, the Tom Pritchard Kane, Glenn Jacobs trained, is now living in Russellville and starting to relaunch his career. Would that be somebody you would be interested in getting a ring with? 6'2", 305 pounds. I think it'd be a very physical matchup.
Hey, I'm all for a hoss fight. If Max wants to step my way, I'm down anytime. I've been on a couple shows with him very early on. But yeah, absolutely, that would be a match worth taking the booking for. You said he's what? You said he's 6'2"?
6'2", about 300.
Okay.
I think y'all would put on a nice show. He's in Arkansas right now, restarting his career over there. He's
Okay.
going to appear here next month. I was going to throw out, maybe he needs to take a trip to Memphis someday.
Yeah, I mean, he would definitely not have the home court advantage if he came into Memphis, but you know, it would take a lot of courage to do that as well. So we'll see how that goes. I'm down. I'm
Excellent.
game anytime though. I'm down.
If you want to distract them, just buy them a box of popcorn.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mr.
no.
Chang.
Go ahead, Walker.
No, I was gonna say I'm down anytime. I'm game. Tell him if he thinks he's got what it takes to step up against the monster, then bring it.
You know, you're talking about the different promotions that you've been a part of or are a part of and everything. When you're not scheduled to have a match on a weekend or whatever, how do you stay in shape? How are you able to stay not only in shape but keep the ring rust off?
Really, it's just a lot of just staying active, just moving around. Believe it or not, I have 2 dogs, so I walk my dogs a lot. Haven't been able to do a whole lot lately because I know you guys didn't get it out there, but here we got some serious snow and ice, so it's kept me homebound for the last week or so. But now it's starting to lighten up, so I'm able to get out and do more again. But yeah, just staying active. That's about it.
Canceled a lot of good shows that were going to happen. I know you lost a couple of shows too.
I did. 901 Wrestling, Love and War, that was supposed to happen this past Sunday at Minglewood Hall. But we have 901 Wrestling Rebound coming up on March. Let me look and see what the date for that is. That's going to be March 14th, or no, March 15th. So yeah, we got that. We got that coming up. You know, so everybody who didn't get to go to this last one, and maybe folks who just want to get out of the house and see some good wrestling will be able to come check it out.
You're supposed to have a match with Yanko Bailey, if I'm not mistaken. What's going on between y'all two?
So Yanko likes to play a lot of mind games. He costed me my 901 Wrestling 18-19 championship. Just trying to get in my head. Now, I don't understand why, but he likes to do that with a lot of people. He likes to play a lot of games. But what he doesn't understand is that I invented the games that he's trying to play. I'm the guy that you go to when you want to learn about a little trickery, right? So Yanko, he's doing his best to try to get in my head, but I don't think he's going to like what he finds once he gets in there.
Could you say all this weather situation and everything kind of bought him a little bit more time before you put him in his rightful place?
I mean, he can have all the time he needs, but when it comes, I do believe we have a reschedule of our match on March 15th. He could take all the time in the world, but it's not going to change the fact that once March 15th rolls around, once he gets in that ring with me, it's inevitable.
Yeah, you're the type of person, individual. It seems like you take no prisoners. You just let them. You just get rid of them.
Yeah, and usually I like to do the things like he's doing. I like to play mind games. I like to, stalk my prey a little bit, but he's made it hard to do that. He's brought himself to the forefront of my attention. So when you bring yourself to the front of my attention, you get dealt with first.
And it seems like you. If I had, I'm just going to say, if everybody out there watching, you don't want to cross paths with a Memphis-made monster. Just if you see them walking down the street, you go to the other side of the street. You stay away from them.
I would hope so. I mean, you would think, but there are a lot of guys that like to test their mettle, which I'm all for. I'm not necessarily going to go out of my way to just punish somebody, to just hurt them. But when you step up to the monster, I got to teach you a lesson. I can't just let that slide. And Yonko has been the biggest example of poking the bear and trying to make a name for himself off of mine. But you know how that goes. You've seen it happen before.
If I had to guess, there's not very many people that can make a name off of you because you take care of business.
I try, man. I do my best.
Because to me, it seems like when you're outside the ring, you are playing games with them, but then once you get inside that squared circle and that bell rings, the games are over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, usually by that point, they're either scared, as they should be, or they're not. They've underestimated me, which is my favorite thing in the world. Guys, I love when people underestimate me. It's glorious, because the first time that I punch them in the mouth, the look on their face never ceases to amaze me.
Why in the world would anybody want to underestimate you?
Don't know.
Well, you just had that a little bit before Chris Chronics. I think the devil himself, Ryan Marks, thought he could make a name off of the Memphis-made monster.
And you see what happened to him. He got buried.
In a very strong warning at the last 12-gate show.
Yeah, I mean, I've made it as clear as I can possibly make it with these guys. I'm just going to leave that be. I've made it as clear as I could possibly make it with these guys. With Chris Crunk, with Ryan Marks, with Kanoa Carnage, with Pluto Vibes, with Jay O'Neill, with Roxy Red. I've told every single one of them to stay out of my yard. Now, what they do moving forward, what they do with that information is completely on them. But they need to understand that I've warned them. Plain and simple.
Sorry, Howie. I love the vibe of the Memphis-made monster. I just wanted to see him inside his sanctum for a second. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, it's like, why would anybody want to try to get inside Walker's head? I mean,
I don't know. But I saw it happen, and it was ugly.
Dude, I don't even like to be in my head sometimes. Why would somebody else want to come in here? You know what I'm saying? Like, this place sucks sometimes. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it sucks, But why would anybody want to take the chance? I don't know. I'll never understand.
Walker, can I ask you, what's your favorite type of match?
My favorite type of match?
Yes.
That's a great question. This is going to be, it's probably going to be a generic answer compared to what you're looking for. But I like an old school no DQ match. Anything goes, no count outs, no DQ, no rope breaks. You just have to pin or make your opponent submit.
Falls count anywhere.
Yeah, I like falls count anywhere too. If you get, I've been in a couple of those. I've been in more no DQ matches though than falls count anywhere, and those are fun. Those are even more fun. I mean, but it also adds the element of having to get your opponent back in the ring, which I like a lot personally.
So you're basically one of these that you enjoy, I guess, a no holds barred, but inside the squared circle.
Yeah. That's where I thrive, man. Chairs, tables, thumbtacks. I like all that stuff. It's my favorite.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of the thumbtacks.
Well, I like to put people in them. I don't necessarily like to be put into myself, but there's that stuff is fun to me, you know.
You know, in today's world and everything, the thumbtacks have been replaced by the Legos.
I've done Legos too. I've done Legos too, but thumbtacks will always hold a special place in my heart because here's something a lot of people don't know about thumbtacks is when you see somebody get thrown into thumbtacks, it's all at once, right? They sit up and they have hundreds of them in their back. But what you don't know is that most of the time when they get to the back, they have to pluck them out one by one. That's the part right there.
And never really thought about that, but yeah.
Yep.
And the ones in the back of your head can turn sideways and like bury in your skull.
Mm-hmm. I know a guy who did a match with thumbtacks. I think it was thumbtacks, and he said 3 days later he was still picking thumbtacks out of his head.
Wow.
Yeah, it's but that's the fun of it, you know, like being able to, you know, to throw somebody into something that's going to stick with them. And even though the thumbtacks probably won't stick in them forever, the image and the event of being slammed into thousands and thousands of tacks, like feeling your entire body just stabbed and poked, you'll remember that forever. And that's what I like about thumbtacks, is that you never forget.
I'm a little creeped out. Howie, go ahead. Howie.
I really don't know. You know, I think he described it pretty well right there. Because I was going to ask how does it really feel, but he just kind of explained it extremely well right then.
That's a man
Sorry,
that sounds
guys.
like he enjoys seeing it too.
I like to go into a little too much detail sometimes. That's all.
Oh, it's beautiful.
No, it's great. That's the thing that we've had quite a few guests on here over the years, and that's one thing that people don't really do when they're on here is go into details about it. They kind of give I guess you call it a nonchalant type answer, but you gave great detail on that right there.
I try. It's one of my favorite things. I like to talk about things that I'm passionate about, and I guess I do like to make people hurt. I lied to you guys earlier, right? Like I said that I don't go out of my way, but sometimes I go out of my way. You're right. Who can blame a guy for that, right? I like to go out of my way sometimes to make people hurt, but only if they deserve it. Yes. Only if they deserve it.
So when you see somebody crossing the street, going to the other side to keep from meeting you on the sidewalk there, you go across the other side too.
I wave at them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, good to see you. Usually they run at that point, but you know.
Probably the opposite direction.
Yeah. Yeah, usually.
Randy?
Hey, Walker, if you will indulge me for a second. I have 3 dream opponents I'm going to throw out at you that I think are great matchups for the Walker 13. And some of them you've probably seen, and I would say all of them are well known enough that you've heard of them. But there's a local legend called Tank. And he's known for being similar to you over a 30-year career. Have you ever wanted to get in the ring with Tank?
Absolutely. I watched Tank wrestle Joey Janela at GCW in Alabama. I think it was 2023. And there's just a certain level of violence that Tank is capable of that I would love to match up with. So yeah, absolutely. I would love to lock horns with Tank.
I always, every time I've seen Tank, I've thought about what it would look like to see you and him in a ring. And as a fan, could you even stomach it? Because there comes a level that you just kind of got to let him go. And I think you and Tank would be that level.
I think so too, because not only is it going to be bloody, is it going to be brutal, but we are going to be hitting each other with everything we have. And I know, and here's the thing about Tank. In his 30-year career, as you said, he has never lightened up. He has never changed. You know, he is
Yeah.
always the same Tank that he has always been, and that's respectable to me. I love a good veteran who still goes just like he did when he was in his heyday, which Tank is still in his heyday. I've watched.
Yes.
I'm still watching Tank go out there and just demolish people. In my opinion, Tank is still in his prime. So yes, that would be. I would love that match.
That was Dream Opponent 1. We're going to replay this show Thursday, and we are privileged to have your Dream Opponent 2 on Thursday. But I think you staying across from Luke Gallows, the big LG, would be a magical situation.
Luke Gallows is actually a dream opponent of mine. I watched Luke Gallows from the Festus days, all the way up to when he was in the Straight Edge Society. You know, the Bullet Club. Like Luke Gallows is somebody that I watched coming up in wrestling. Like somebody that I wanted to be like. You know, he was definitely a big inspiration for me. But as for if I were to stand across from Luke Gallows now, I don't know.
Luke,
think,
we're privileged.
Go ahead.
I said it would be a privilege to see you two stand across from each other. I think Luke's around 6'6", about 285. You're 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds. It would be a clash of the Titans.
It would be an honor for me as well. It would definitely be an honor for me. Yeah, for sure. And it would be definitely a childhood dream of mine to be able to stand across from him.
I'm gonna throw that challenge out to him when we have him here Thursday night. So be watching. I'm gonna bring up the Memphis Made Monster, which I am a big fan of. And the third, I think right now would be he just defended his title in the Memphis area. I think you inside the ring with the Thrill Billy, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Silas Mason, would be a phenomenal matchup. How would you feel about having a chance of that 10 pounds of gold?
So, do you have a moment that I can tell you a little Silas Mason story?
Go ahead, sir. It's all yours.
Back in 2017, I was on a lot of shows with Silas, and his tag team partner at the time, Devin Dixon. They were the Mason-Dixon line.
Yes, sir.
If I wasn't tagging with them in a 6-man tag against somebody else, I was tagging against them with a tag partner. Like it was like I was in the ring with them all the time. And Silas definitely was ahead of his time then. He's much ahead of his time now. Like you see, he's the NWA heavyweight champion. But to be able to tie up with Silas Mason now would be an honor and a privilege because he and I have both changed so much in the past. 2017, 9 years?
9 years.
9 years that I think now it would be a very special matchup and it would mean a lot to me. But also, Silas doesn't really know how much I've changed. And I think that he would be one of those guys that would walk in underestimating me. And he would leave at the end of the night with his 10 pounds of gold not around his waist anymore.
And I tell people that don't know Silas that in the last decade, he's the fastest rising star in this business. And you can talk about your WWE stars. You can talk about your nobody is a bigger star on this planet right now than the Thrill Billy. And we're honored. I'm an NWA guy. We're honored to have him as a champion right now. And he's not clean either, Walker. You and him could buddy the situation. He likes a little violence too.
He hit hard back in the day. I know he hits even harder now. He's got to. He's the champion, you know. So I'd like to see what that piece of business would look like. I'd like to get in on that violence. So if you ever have him on the show, tell him the challenge is open for me.
That's one of my dreams, is to interview him. I'm going to see him twice next month, so I don't know if I'll ever have him on here, but he is one of my dream guests. I would love to have the Thrill Billy on here. Hey, and I've got one more I wanted to throw out. Of course, he's passed, and I hate that he's passed, but in his prime, a King Kong Bundy versus Walker 13 would have been one of those WrestleMania type matches.
Absolutely. King Kong Bundy, man, you talk about hard hitting, man. He was up there with like Vader and Stan Hansen. Like, he was ahead of his time as far as that strong style wrestling goes. I would have loved to be able to work with King Kong Bundy. And I'll tell you this also, another guy that I grew up watching, that I'm a huge fan of, is Big Boss Man.
Ray was a great guy, man. I had the privilege of working security with Ray a few times. He's a great guy.
Really? Oh, man, I love that. Yeah, Big Boss Man is definitely one of my biggest inspirations in wrestling, for sure. So yeah, that would have been either one. Him or King Kong Bundy would have been great.
And there's always the man whose name is held the highest in this house and in this show, and that's Terry Bam Bam Gordy. We love the big guys that can work, and there's so few of you. That's the reason they're all held in such high esteem for us.
I'm honored that you would include me in anywhere near Terry Gordy. He's the reason why I'm growing my hair out right now. I don't know if you noticed that, but I'm growing my hair out because of Terry Gordy. I've been watching a lot of old Terry Gordy tapes. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can look out my front door and I see his house.
Really?
I grew up in this, not probably 3.5, 4 miles from where he lived when he passed. So yeah, Terry's held in high honor around here. So
so cool.
Howie, before I pass it over, I got one more little subject we're going to breach, and I'll and the next segment, and we'll save it for the next segment. I'll turn it over to Howie. We're going to go through what's in Walker 13's listening radar right now, or I don't know, everybody's got a different term. I do it on Alexa, but what's Walker 13 listening to? So think about that while you're going through this with Howie.
Okay.
Yeah, Walker, kind of going back to your dream matches and all that, y'all were throwing out names, and one person that stuck in my mind would be Mick Foley. I think y'all could really kind of tear the house down.
That means a lot. I appreciate that. Yeah, Mick Foley is definitely a big inspiration for me too. I met Mick Foley when I was, I want to say, 5 years old at an independent show in Tupelo, Mississippi. It was him and Molly Holly were the big stars on that show that they were doing a meet and greet and all that. And I'll never forget. Mick Foley is also the reason why I fall on concrete sometimes, which yeah. I'm like, if Mick could do everything that he did, because he sacrificed himself for like so many of those bumps that he took, the way he explained it was, I'm willing to put myself through all this just so you feel a little bit, and that lit a spark in my mind. That made me think, oh well, it opened up a whole new world for me, because at the end of the day, it's just pain. It either goes away or it doesn't, but it's just pain. So,
hey, nobody sells Mick for how big of a guy he was either. Mick was a big guy.
Yeah, Mick is probably 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, he's 300 pounds plus. So
yeah,
I can picture both of y'all sitting in the opposite corners with your tongue sticking through a hole in your mouth or something that y'all gave each other, with thumbtacks sticking all over you.
Oh my God. Let's
it would be my dream. I'm sure I've had that dream a few times, quite a few times. Absolutely.
Out of all your matches, you love the, I don't want to call it hardcore stuff, but you love basically the hardcore stuff. But
yeah, absolutely.
what's the worst amount of juice that you've lost in a match that you was like, wow, I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but it ended up being a lot worse than I thought?
So, the 901 Wrestling Wild Card Rumble 2025. And I know the Rumble, it doesn't make sense, but hear me out. I have the scar. Which, oh yeah, it's this arm. I don't know if you can see that scar right there going
Yeah.
across right there.
Mhm.
That was from an exposed cable on the rope. It got me. It was in the corner. It got me. And the next thing I knew, I looked down and my arm was just red, just covered in blood. And I was like, oh, I guess that just happened. One of the referees had to tell me I was bleeding. And that's honestly like the most that I've ever bled from wrestling was just off of a freak accident that, believe it or not, I didn't feel in the moment. I didn't feel it when it happened. I felt this arm. I thought this arm was a little sweatier than this arm, and one of the refs was like, Walker, you're bleeding. I'm like, huh? And I checked my head. He's like, no, your arm. And I'm like, oh. So yeah, it was an exposed cable on a rope that got me.
Wow.
Hey, according to what I think you know as much as you like to inflict damage, and I've been in enough to know back in the day when I thought I was young and liked violence too.
Mhm.
If you got the wrong kind of ring ropes, they are a dangers to you. I know some people use real ring ropes, but the metal ones, I always like the metal ones, but the metal ones unexposed or are exposed, it sounds like you ran into one of those.
Yeah, and it was an absolute like freak accident. Like the 901 ring crew is honestly the best ring crew like in the area and beyond. Like they're on their game and stuff. But it was a combination of, because there's so many guys in a rumble that there's commotion going all around. So the same guy can wear out the same spot or the same I mean everybody can wear out the same spot in the corner to where the turnbuckle pad is a little far this way, and the hose around the cable is a little far this way, and it kind of makes that little opening for that little piece of metal to stick out. Like it's just perfect storm, freak accident. But they've since completely got that that fixed up. But yeah, especially in the rings, like you said, with cable and hose around it, like that's a big risk that you run with that steel cable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Go ahead, Howie. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Talking about the Rumble, it seemed like you've been in a few of them. What is your philosophy in that? Do you get in a corner and just kind of hide out there and say, "Come to me," or do you go looking for people?
When I first get in, I'm just trying to knock as many people down as I can. I'll come in just house of fury. I mean, usually I calm down after a second. I'm like, you know what? Let me try to eliminate this one guy. I try to eliminate the one guy, and 9 times out of 10, somebody comes up and wants to hit me in the back. And usually it's a big stare down that gets some oohs and some ahs, and usually it ends with a dead man's party, which is a black hole slam. I don't make the rules. It just happens in almost every rumble that I'm in. I was in a rumble at MIW Wrestling in Middleton, Tennessee a few weeks ago, and I just so happened to come in the ring right after all 3 referees were sent out there. I don't know how they got their spot in the rumble. I don't know how they even applied to be in the rumble, but all 3 referees on the show were in the rumble, which is super crazy to me. But I don't know. I don't make the rules. So then they said my number was next after all 3 referees, and they were all standing together, and everybody else was like kind of hiding in the corner. But for some reason, the referees wanted to buck up on me, so I ran and gave them all a crossbody at once. It was so funny. You should have seen the looks on their faces. They were like, "Oh,
300
Lord.
pounds flying through the air is not what you're ready for.
No, not at all. Not at all." And they were some dainty boys, poor fellas.
You, you and Randy talking about the thrill Billy a little bit earlier, talking about the champion probably hitting harder now than he does. With you being a former champion yourself, with the target being on your back, how much harder is it to go against someone knowing that you're going to get their best times 20 or whatever?
It's definitely a certain mindset that you have to have. And everybody's different with the way they carry a title and the way they carry themselves with the title. For me, I would say, as a wrestler, I'm more of this on the sadistic side of things. Like I'm not afraid to get violent and get nasty when I have to. But
My
carrying a
hero.
title, what's that?
I said my hero.
Carrying a title and knowing that the target is on your back, even when you're trying to be the best person that you can be at the same time as being the best wrestler you can be, a lot of times those two things don't really correlate. So when I was the 12 gauge champion and the 901 18-19 champion, I had two targets on my back at all times. So in those scenarios, when I'd get into matches, I'd have to have no mercy. I'd have to take every chance that I could to put somebody away. And that's just a killer instinct that a lot of guys, I mean, I'd imagine you have to have as being a champion. But for me, I was already kind of violent anyway, so that was just kind of more in my wheelhouse. But for somebody like Silas, I would think, hit harder, slam harder, take no prisoners, which is he's done a great job so far, and I commend him for it.
You said a word a second ago, and it made somebody pop into my mind that I feel like would be a dream, or not necessarily a dream match of yours, but I think y'all could have a good match with the brutality that y'all would probably both like, and that's Abyss.
Abyss is my hero. Abyss is my absolute hero in wrestling. He's the reason why I do the Black Hole Slam. He is honestly like one of the main reasons that I became a wrestler in the first place. Yeah, Abyss is my absolute hero. And for you to say that, honored to hear it, because Abyss is probably, I would say Abyss is my favorite of all time, to be quite honest with you.
For the people watching, this is only the second time I've ever talked to Walker, and I'm throwing these names out because they're coming on the top of my head here, and it's just blowing my mind how I'm kind of picking up on some of the stuff just talking to you and picturing the way you're wrestling against possibly some of these other people.
Yeah, I definitely leave a lot of crumbs in my work on, my influences and, the way I carry myself. There's a lot of, because, growing up, that's all I really had was old wrestling tapes and old horror tapes, that's all I really had. So I just watched them over and over and over and studied the movements and studied the characters and studied the matches. And in horror movies, I studied the killer's movements and the kills. And when I got into wrestling, I thought, how could I correlate horror into wrestling and make the movements kind of the same? Jason Voorhees, Art the Clown. Here, I'll show you this. Terrifier, Art the Clown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big inspiration, and a lot of people would probably say that's might be insane a little bit, but I don't know. Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Randy, I don't know how you didn't laugh in his face a while ago when he said something about, get a little violent every once in a while.
You just accepted facts. So, it got me thinking heading into this interview. We've had these segments, and we're always respectful. Some people criticize Walker 13, but we embrace Walker and his unique personality, and we think it's amusing. One of the things I thought about heading in this interview, I know you love hardcore wrestling. I know you love horror movies. Did you embrace heavy metal?
Absolutely. Big heavy metal guy. This shirt, Spirit Box.
Yes.
They performed at the Grammys. I think it was this year's Grammys that they performed at. They performed Soft Spine, which is their like the hottest song off their newest album. Soft Spine is actually also my entrance music that I walk out to the ring to. Which they probably don't know that I exist, but the fact that my entrance music that I've used since the day it came out, like the day that Soft Spine came out, they dropped a single in August of 2024, and I used it as my entrance theme that night and have been using it since. The fact that they played my entrance theme at the Grammys will always be the coolest thing in the world to me.
When you heard it, did you know it was your entrance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The minute, because I heard the intro, I was like, okay, this is cool and spooky. And as soon as it dropped with a guitar riff, I was like, yep, this is me. This is me now.
Did you get up and strut around the living room like, hey, you're coming in to walking down the ramp to get ready to kill somebody?
I thought about it. Definitely. I thought about all of the violence that would come behind that song and me walking out to the ring to it. It definitely, even almost 2 years later after first introducing it still gets me just as hyped up.
Do you we lost Ozzy Osbourne, who was one of my favorites. I'm a little older than you. I grew up on that late 70s, early 80s metal of Pantera. It broke in the 90s, but I'm big into the Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath era. And I think a lot of that comes from I used to tell people I use my music like some people use horror movies or scary movies. I love that imagery. Do you listen to music and find that imagery in it for yourself too?
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on. Speaking of music, I hear music playing right now. I don't know if that's me or is that me?
I don't know. I hear it too.
Yeah,
No, it's fine.
we were talking about music. I wasn't expecting to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like when I'm making my my promos, when I'm cutting promos, background music is a very important thing, and a lot of times I listen to music to give me ideas for promos and for stories. I don't know what this is, but it's really good.
I heard one of your promos and it sounded like lyrics. Do you intentionally do that with your promo?
Sometimes I'll drop little Easter eggs in there of song lyrics that to see if anybody picks up on them for sure.
Yeah, I picked up on some of that. Yeah. And I was just impressed that, I thought when I listened to it, I said, oh, he's got the same demonic music taste that I do. So,
Yeah.
do you, who are the bands you listen to on the road? I mean, I know you do a bunch of hours on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Spirit Box is a big one. Sleep Token is a big one for me.
Oh, I'm a huge Sleep Token fan.
Yeah, I love to hear that, man. I love Sleep Token so much. Sleep Token. Who else? This is a band you might not know about, but they're from Memphis. They're called Rosary. They're like a hardcore, kind of like new, not necessarily new metal, but like blackened hardcore band, and they are so good. They have a lot of really good music out right now, and they just keep putting out hit after hit after hit. And they're honestly coming up in the scene in Memphis too. So I'd recommend checking them out if you like really heavy stuff.
I will definitely do that. I've never listened, but I'll go find them on YouTube tonight.
Absolutely, they have a lot of really good stuff. Once we get off the podcast, everything, I'll send you some links to some good stuff by them.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hey, one more question about music. That era of music, there's a rise now in younger people like yourself and younger musicians that are kind of restoring some of it. It almost died out, I guess, during the grunge period in the early 2000s, and you were getting stuff that I really didn't. It's good music, but I really didn't care for that. I don't know what you call it, but it was not the metal I grew up on, and I grew up on the hardcore metal but Do you think today with the movies that's been released and some of the great, I'm not a big horror movie guy, but my daughter is, and I know right now she's seen a series of great horror movies and she's always telling me about it. There's a series of great uh, metal coming out right now. Are we in a genre where we're going to see another revival of the great metal bands of like the late 70s, early 80s?
In my opinion, it's not going to be the same necessarily because there was something about Black Sabbath, about Ronnie James Dio,
My
about
favorites, one of my
Metallica. Like there was something about that energy and that music that just hit different. But now
yeah,
you have bands like Spirit Box, like Sleep Token, like Sleep Theory. I don't know if you've heard of Sleep Theory or not,
yes,
but
sir.
they they're from Memphis as well. I actually went to high school with two of those guys. Really, really great dudes. But great
Nice.
music too. Like there's just it's just different because people are different now, I think. Like people aren't the times have changed so much and the people have changed. Like attention spans have changed over time with like cell phones and all that. So they have to kind of like tweak their tweak their product to make it, to
Yeah,
make it different now. But I do think metal is in a resurgence period because metal is becoming more and more mainstream. Like Spirit Box just performed at the Grammys. Like it
yeah.
is becoming more and more mainstream. It's not going to sound the same as it did, but it might definitely be more mainstream now than it ever was.
Well, Metallica was a little band that would play in front of 500 people when I was involved, and I was in college, and now they're one of the biggest bands in the world for the last 40 years. It has evolved, and one of the things I take great pride in. I'll turn it over to you, Howie. After this, you talk about music taste and how you absorb it has changed. When a band I love puts out a new CD, or well, I don't guess it's CDs anymore, but I always find the CDs and I'll come in and I still have my own uh, uh, stereo here and I put it on and I want to listen to it and I want to go cover to cover just because we don't experience music the way we used to. We used to
No.
experience a full album. Now we're like, oh, that's a good song. Let's skip to track 6. That's a good song. I'll
Mm-hmm.
have to consume it all.
I'm the same way. If I'm on the road, I'll put an album on first song and I'll listen all the way through.
Excellent, excellent. Howie, you asked some questions, and I'm gonna go see if I can figure out what the feedback we're getting is.
Yeah. Walker, before I get too involved in it, we appreciate your time tonight. Sorry about having to reschedule last few days, but
Oh, it's all good.
um, I mentioned a couple of 'em out of the blue. I don't know how I done it, but mentioning some of your favorites there with Abyss and Mankind. Uh, could you tell me maybe something that you took from each one of them and installed in your craft?
Um, Abyss definitely the black hole slam and his facial expressions. Even though he wore a mask, you could still always see his face and feel the
Right.
emotion that he was feeling. Abyss was definitely like the best, the best emotion. Like you could see all of his emotions. Like he was this big monster, but he wasn't like stone face. Like he was very. I'm not going to say cartoonish, but more like he was very animated, right? I took that. I like to say I took that from him. I try to be animated when I wrestle. Um, with as far as like Mick Foley, um, concrete bumps, really
I think
concrete
I would have
bumps.
got something else other than a concrete bump from him.
Well, I guess it's part of the game. But two other guys that I would say I took the most from were Bray Wyatt. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. I took a lot from him. His crossbody, the senton, the uranagi. He used to do uranagi a lot. I got that from him. But I combine the Bray Wyatt and the Mankind because I do the crossbody in the ring, but I also do it on the floor. Sometimes it depends on the match. But if it's like a hardcore match or like a crazy match, I'll hit the Bray Wyatt crossbody on the floor. which is nasty. It's loud. It's a loud thud. It gets a big reaction every time, and it hurts. It hurts, and I like that. Another person that I took a lot after was the Undertaker. Just his aura and the way he carried himself. Because when Undertaker walked out to the ring, everything stopped. You always knew that, as soon as you hear the bell and you see him, it's like everything and nothing else matters. It's like eyes, you're scared, but your eyes are glued to the screen. He just had that presence, that aura about him, which is something that I'm working on, that I try to carry, because it's one thing to go out there and enjoy hurting people, but it's also nice to look cool while you're doing it,
Yeah, me and Randy had the privilege of watching WrestleMania in Atlanta and seeing the Undertaker come down to the ring and put on one of the best shows of the night, or the best match of the night for sure.
Hey, it might have been the worst WrestleMania ever, but the 5 minutes that the Undertaker walked that ramp was the greatest 5 minutes I've ever had in an arena watching wrestling.
Yeah.
It's
which WrestleMania was it?
It was the one where he wrestled Triple H, and the ending of the series where he did the 2 matches with Shawn Michaels and the 2 matches with Triple H, and Triple H tore him up all night. It was just like Undertaker sold, and then locked him in the Hell's Gate. It was like, I actually had to get up and tell somebody, leave me alone, because I got so into that match during WrestleMania. It was great. The main event was John Cena and The Miz, but the main event really was Triple H and The Undertaker. To me, it will always be the main event. Edge versus Alberto Del Rio was really, really good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Now that you mentioned, I remember that WrestleMania. It was a very good WrestleMania. Very good WrestleMania.
If I count my Roman numerals right, 27.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 27.
Hey, and if you're listening from the WWE, I'm still trying to go to another one before I die. Bring it back to Atlanta. Or Nashville.
Nashville, we got that new stadium coming up, so you never
know.
Hey, Liberty Bowl in Memphis would be cool too. Just saying.
Hey, I can make it to Memphis. I can't make New York City. I mean, you got to get a little closer than that. Give me a chance. I can even stamp Charlotte. Give me a chance to go.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have, if he didn't have a cell phone back then, he wouldn't have made it to that one, because I called him where I got on the interstate to go to Atlanta. I'm like, hey man, I said, I don't know where you're at, but you need to get off, because there's been a wreck and traffic is backed up. And he was like, all right, thanks. And he was you able to get off immediately, or did you have to drive on the median just a little bit to get off?
I got off almost immediately. And I was at the 390 exit, the first Carnival's exit, and went all the way through the city of Cartersville. And that took me like an hour and 10 minutes. And then when I got on the interstate, it was just like me on the interstate, because everybody else was backed up.
Yes.
So I got to WrestleMania about the 8th match if it wouldn't have been for you, Howie.
But
that's what friends are for.
Yes, sir.
But it's great being able to talk to you and listen to you, and hearing you take bits and pieces from some of your favorite wrestlers all time. And do you have a favorite match between two guys that you whoever it may be? It don't have to be your favorite people, but a favorite match of all time.
This is such a generic answer, but Taker versus Shawn WrestleMania 25.
Oh, it's not generic. That's in my top 5 too.
Yeah, like I think 25 was their first one. Yeah.
I like the first one better than this. Yeah.
Yeah, that match with the moonsault to the tombstone, man, like you just can't tell a better story than that.
No,
like and it was just
Shawn in the all white, the Taker in the all black. Yeah, it was phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, and Taker doing that dive and taking out the camera guy.
Yep. I think I'm gonna go watch it tonight.
Me too, probably. Me too.
Hey,
I don't know if you can hear
I'm
my
gonna throw
dog in the
another.
background.
Oh yeah,
I'll
that's
throw
good.
another one at you that you ought to go watch. Ric Flair, Terry Funk at Clash of Champions. That's
Okay.
close. That's and Terry Funk does the business at the end, but it's still classic Terry Funk versus Ric Flair. I don't know
Okay.
why that match does it for me, but it does.
Okay. That'll be the next one that I check out for sure.
Good deal. Walker, we appreciate your time. Randy, you have anything else?
No, man.
Yeah.
This year we're gonna feature Walker on several episodes. We're really pushing our, and he didn't ask us to do this, but we every year pick out someone that we really think is not getting the push they deserve. Last year it was Judy Lee Taylor, who's now signed to the NWA, and we've chosen Walker this year. So we're going to try to bring him on several times and follow his career. And the next time he's local, we'll get him back on again. And Walker, we appreciate you as a person and the entertainer, and we would like to just put our stamp on you that you're one of the great faces to this business locally, and we're really proud you'd take time with us.
Hey, that means the world to me, guys, and I will always appreciate you, and I will be on the show anytime you want me on. It is an honor and a privilege for me, and you guys are amazing. You guys are wonderful. So I will be on this anytime you want me. I very much
Well,
appreciate it.
Speaking
we've
of
already,
time, we'll make sure you get the right time next time.
yeah, we've already kind of penciled you in for April, just to let you know.
I appreciate that. And it's crazy that I forget the time difference because my girlfriend lives in Georgia, which she's an hour ahead, and I usually remember it, but for some reason I didn't remember it here. I don't know why. I be forgetting.
I live. Listen, my life is chaos. I live in Eastern time. I work in Central time. You
Yeah.
talk about pure chaos.
Yeah.
I left
Oh,
work. I left work at 4 o'clock to be home at 7.
that's
It don't
crazy.
make it don't make any sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
So yeah, I'm in Central Time as well. I'm in Alabama, so I'm in Central Time as well.
Okay. I'm in
So
Central Time too.
when me and Randy are talking, it's like, is this your time or my time? Then he'll tell us, and then when Thursday night we were like, Randy's like, well, we'll give Walker a few more minutes, and I went back and read the messages. I'm like, Randy, if I'm not mistaken, Walker is out toward Memphis. He's in Central, and you told him 8. Do you think he's thinking 8 Central? And he's like, good point. Let me find out.
There was also a stream of curse words, which I try not to do, and I try real hard not to do. But they might have been a stream of curse conscience that went on at that point too. But
Hey, sometimes you got to let it out, brother. It's all right.
but we do appreciate you, and man, anytime you got anything to promote here in East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, just let us know. We got you, man. You are one of our favorites, and we love having you on, man. Thank you very much.
I really appreciate you guys. You guys are my favorites too, and it means more to me than you know. Thank you.
And Walker, before we let you go, always, as always, be prepared. Shout out time. You have any shout outs you'd like to give to anybody?
It's his
Uh,
segment.
Shout out to 901 Wrestling. Shout out to 12 Gauge Pro Wrestling. Let's see, you put me on the spot now. I can't think of any.
Randy,
I'm gonna go.
you
I'm
got
gonna
there,
circle back. I'm gonna circle back because you said you got Gallows on this week, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
If you end up telling him that you spoke to me and you bring it up to him, let him know that I understand how legendary he is. I understand that he stood toe to toe with the best that this business has to offer, but he's never stood against anything like me before.
You do know he has a son that just broke into the business. That would be an interesting match too.
It would be. It would be. I would love that match. I would love to wrestle his son, and I would love to wrestle him. So, Luke Gallows, if you get the chance to see this, I know you've seen the highest of the highs in the business. You've seen the lowest of the lows, but you've never seen anything like me before, and never ever forget, Luke Gallows, that monsters are real.
Actually, Walker, the lowest of the lows will be Thursday when he's on here. So,
Oh no!
unfortunately, no, I'm just
No.
joking. I'm
Hey,
joking.
I got a shout out before we go. This CD has gotten me through the snowstorm. The DVD, No Bull, ACDC, and live ACDC. So shout out to guitarist under 5'2" tall.
Hell yeah! Hey, shout out to Spirit Box too for that performance at the Grammys of Soft Spine, which is my entrance theme. You can find it anywhere on streaming platforms. Soft Spine by Spirit Box, the official theme of Walker 13.
Awesome. He went from not having nobody shout out to shout outing a lot of people. Awesome.
That's good.
That's great. Walker, we appreciate your time. Walker 13, the Memphis made monster. Get ready. Like Randy said, you're already penciled in for April. So we'll just kind of cross the I's and dot the T's later on.
Just shoot me the date, guys. I'll be there. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And we'll make sure you get the right time, as always.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So for QB1, Randy Cunningham, I'm the Howard Chaney, and our special guest tonight, as always, a privilege and an honor to talk to the Memphis made monster, Walker 13. Everybody,
This show will be streaming after the Luke Gallows appearance.
So everybody, thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for joining us, and good night, everybody.